All right, guys, how are you doing? I hope you are having a wonderful, beautiful afternoon. We are heading into the weekend here pretty soon. Not quite Friday, but it is getting there. I am Brett FX, joined here by codename Deuce, as well as Nightmare. Now, real quick, Safe was supposed to be joining us. He last minute second said that he could, so he may actually pop in later. I don't know. It just all depends on how things work out. But we shall see. Now, I have made some tweaks to the microphone, so hopefully you're going to be able to see or hear me a little bit better, and hopefully Deuce isn't going to be raping your ears, because I know some of you guys complained about him being too loud in the last video. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Now, first of all, I do want to go ahead and get Nightmare on the board, who he is, where he's coming from, just so that you guys know our guest that's going to be joining us. So Nightmare, what's up with you?
I am a current Battlefield 1 competitive player, former leader of CS as we are inactive right now. I've won many or multiple events on BF1 from BF Nation to ESB, BSL, and I'm right now going to be competing in the BFN $500 tournament coming up for Illusion.
All right. So, real quick, I don't know if you just mentioned this or not, but what platform do you play for? Play on.
I play for PS4.
Okay, so he plays on PS4. Deuce is a PC, PS4. Do you play on Xbox any?
Of course, try console mustard race. Like,
Okay, so Deuce is basically like he's enjoying that three way. Myself, I am primarily a PC player. I have played on PlayStation 4, not a whole lot on Xbox. Most of my stuff on Xbox is casting, but yeah, so that's where we're kind of going from a platform background, anyways, going into this. So what I wanted to talk about is events. This is what this whole episode is going to be on. Just events, upcoming events, what we think about events, what formats we think that we would like to see in those particular events. Now, we're going to have three different point of views. We're going to have a caster point of view, myself. We're going to have codename Deuce point of view, who is an organizer. And we're going to have Nightmare here, who is a player. So we're going to have three different points of view. Oh, wait. Is Safe here? Can he talk?
Hi guys. Okay, sorry, I
Okay.
didn't want to interrupt.
Well, Safe is here, so he has joined us. Unfortunately, I removed his name from some of the panels, so he's going to be here in spirit, except for the very start of this thing. But we're also going to have Safe joining us, who joined us in the last episode as well. And he's also going to be as a player point of view, talking about events. We're just kind of going to go through of what we think about them. We'll go through the questions. You guys will see them up on the page as well. So yeah, you can laugh all you want, Safe. But you're just as ready as anybody else to start playing in them. So don't even start with me, okay? But all
I
right,
didn't say
so
anything.
yeah, so first and foremost, we are going to take a look right now at the organizations that are going to be actually holding events potentially in the future. They have talked about it. I have either cast for them, with them, or I know that they have casts before. That's how I kind of am expecting these guys to launch some stuff. I believe that GEL and Hardcore League have already announced some stuff, but there are the Twitter information up on the page right there. Esport BF, that is going to be Deuce's organization. Now, Deuce, you're not quite ready to announce anything. I did see a tweet from you earlier today, I believe it was anyways, that said soon. So is that all the info we're getting?
right now, yeah. Unfortunately, no leaks just yet. But stuff is coming sooner than people think. So
Okay,
just
well,
expect some news soon.
but at the very least, you guys need to follow at Esport BF. They will be announcing some stuff for platforms. Don't know how many or which ones. Can you at least tell us that?
Nope.
No. Okay, so it's just going to be a mystery grab on that one. Then we're going to have BF Nations. Now, I don't know if they announced anything, but I have seen them streaming some stuff, so I know that they have at the very least interest in doing some organizing.
They've announced everything already.
Okay, so they have announced it. Okay, so go over to their Twitter at BF Nations. Make sure you do check that out. At Play GEL Online, those guys I do know have announced it. I saw their video, I believe, today or yesterday. They are going to be doing just North American stuff, and I believe they are doing a PC and Xbox for North America, and then just PC for Europe. I believe so. But go check out their Twitter. Make sure you follow them and see exactly what's going to be happening there. Hardcore League Official has also announced their stuff. I believe they're only going to be NA, and I believe it's only going to be on Xbox. But they have also announced some events. Do you guys know of any other events that are going to be going on that I haven't mentioned? Any other organizations?
No, but I have something to add, Brett. Regarding BF Nations, I think the signups were supposed to close tomorrow, but they extended, or they pushed it to the 11th of May now.
Oh, okay,
So
fantastic.
at least for I don't know if it's for every
Yeah, for everyone. Just their
platform
PS4
or it's
EU
PC. It's
filled in.
PCU. Okay,
Everything
okay.
else got extended a week.
Yeah, so there's still a chance to add your team. That's all.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, guys, if you want to go check that out, make sure you do so. PS4, you said PS4 was already shut down. Everything else is extended. So yeah, exciting
But
stuff there.
PS4 EU is shut down because they filled it up essentially.
Okay.
But today was supposed to be their like closeout date for signups to stop, but they extended it a week.
Awesome. Awesome.
Like the other ones.
All right, so that's all that I know information wise about events. Obviously, you can follow me at BrightFX and codename Deuce. Maybe we'll tweet out some stuff. If we Deuce will obviously tweet out his own stuff, but I'll definitely be retweeting stuff that I do find from anybody and everybody that sends me stuff, or if I just happen to spy it on the Twitter sphere. So that's going to be the events. Have happy hunting on those. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is formats. You know, what formats are we going to be wanting to see? And we got a little bit of an echo here on one of you guys. Who is it? Who is talking over? I can hear it. Come on, anybody? Oh, they turned off their echo. Okay, so that just
Not me.
made me sound really, really stupid. But anywho's, no, there's the echo again. I swear, one
It's
of you
Deuce,
guys.
it's Deuce.
No, it's not.
Deuce.
It is. I just saw it. Don't lie.
Deuce.
Don't lie, Deuce.
Why are you lying? Oh my god.
Why you lying, man? Why you lying? So, anyways, formats and maps. You know, what exactly is the format that we're wanting to look at? Best of three, best of fives, best of ones. Are we going to want to see, you know, basically a single elimination, double elimination bracket, season, leagues, cups, all that kind of good stuff? And what maps are we going to be wanting to play? Obviously, the maps and the modes are going to be dependent on each other because there's only one map per mode at the moment. Yeah, so first of all, let's go ahead and start off with our two players. So we'll go ahead and start off with Nightmare. Nightmare, what exactly are you wanting to see in terms of like cups or leagues? Are you wanting, like, which one do you like the best?
I think cups could be very interesting if they were like 1 day cups, but I think leagues are where it should really be at. Best of three format is very important in my opinion until finals. Um, I just think best of three work out the best if I'm going too far in front of you, but
Well, I mean, okay, so why exactly are you wanting leagues over cups?
I think leagues over cups is better because certain players can't play in a 1 day cup or over time may get better. I think cups only shows who's the best on a certain day. You know, I could be having a really bad game, but say someone as in like Deuce is playing is having the best game of his career, and his team could just steamroll my team because I'm having that bad day. Leagues, it spreads out a lot further, and if I do have a bad day, I have a full week to fix whatever I did wrong. You then come back in the next week and fix that and do better.
That's an interesting take on it. I disagree, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. All right, Safe. What about you? I know somebody who has played extensively in the cup style with ESL. What exactly are you liking? You like leagues or cup matches?
Well, it depends on like how 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 you enter a new game. In my opinion, without a doubt, it's cups. I don't have anything against leagues. I just think that cups, yeah, maybe it shows who's the best team at that certain day, but if but it will still give you an overview on who are the best teams over a certain of time. Plus, it makes the teams that lost the previous cup, they would come back and play the next cup. In leagues, most teams, if they lose 2, 3 games in a row, they're just gonna give up, especially in incursions. This is why we have so few teams playing this game. And and from my experience with the leagues, like I've seen so far, is that teams that have lost the first few games they had, they just quit. There's no point for them to continue playing this game.
Yeah.
Um, Other thing I want to add is that um, leagues, it's something like it's also about how you attract players to play the game. And I think small cups with or just it doesn't matter if it's small cups or big cups, just cups with a prize money once a week, you always see new people, new faces, and returning faces into the cups or the game, whatever. It's easier for them to follow leagues, and especially with smaller orgas, like unknown ones so far, like BFN or whatever. I'm not, I don't have experience playing on ESP, for instance, or BFN. They're not known for me. I know ESL. That's pretty much everything I know. Like from what I've played in the past. And like just starting out with leagues right away, for me, I combine it with, or it reminds me of the ESL one time when we used to play in Battlefield 4. It was like, oh, leagues, oh, these are the tier 4 teams that play that. It's not interesting, it's boring, it's once a week. It's usually there is no prizes, or like the first thing Epsilon said. I know it's not about money, but the first thing Epsilon said, like Epsilon or Mayak said, was that, oh, so we need to play 2 months just to win $400.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah, of course you play games and it's about fun and this and that, but there competition is about grinding and being the best, and a real prize once a week makes you grind harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. But yeah, I go definitely with cups, like weekly cups.
Okay, but
uh
safe. Sorry to
that's what I
interrupt you real
like.
quick, but
Yeah,
what
you
you
can
just
interrupt me,
said
I'm done.
make what
All
what
right.
what you just said makes no sense because if you're having a cup a week or a match a week, you're still playing once a week to get to that whatever price pool. So it doesn't make like you're literally saying it's the same thing while contradicting yourself. Like
No.
if you have a league and you're playing one match a week, one day a week, and you're playing a cup, a series of
Mhm.
cups, and you're playing all those cups to gain points like the ESL ones, getting points and then you get invited to the playoffs, whatever.
Yeah,
You're still playing.
Yeah, but the ESL cups were worth money each cup.
Yeah,
each
okay,
cup.
but you can't compare ESL when they just like it
No,
was
but
just money
the
dump.
go for cups on ESL in
But
general, they're
but I
worth
think
a
the point,
prize each cup each week.
yeah, the point
There
that he
was
was
like a
getting
cup.
to was that the cups, each cup had a prize at the end of it. Even if it was in a series setting, it still had a prize at the end of it, and that on that day or on that weekend. Whereas a league match, a league setting doesn't. You have to wait those 2 months, 1 month, whatever it is, to get to that prize.
It
Yeah, but my
doesn't
point
feel
is, it's
competitive on
hard.
the same way.
I think it's hard to like have your reference point as the BF4 PC scene where money was just dumped in. I don't want to go into detail, but like money was just literally dumped in. Um, and obvious course they had money just laying around and they're just putting it for the cups. But you're talking about community run events, like you got to be realistic. I mean, not only does Battlefield One and its incursions, unlike from ESL getting money dumped, money doesn't grow out of people's asses. So like ultimately, like I think it's wrong to compare such a
Wow, it
big
depends on whose ass
organization.
it is.
Well, I don't know. Whoever friends you guys have, then let them meet with me because clearly we don't have the same connection.
Deuce
But
is gonna start grabbing ass.
no, but clearly you are, so, since you're part of the staff as well. Someone has to sacrifice himself, and I guess it's you. No, but jokes apart, like um, comparing like ESL, which is literally like the global leader in esports, um, and what happened in BF4, I think it's wrong because then you see every other community run event or even smaller org run event in the world, you're just going to see it under the wrong eyes, in my opinion.
I mean, I think what ESL did, cooperating with Dice, for me personally, it was luxury, and it was I loved it. I enjoyed it, to be honest.
It was
Like
it was Dice EA
it,
going,
yeah,
here,
it
take
was
my money and make this an
perfect for
esport.
me. I lose this Go for Cup, I just can come back and win the next Go for Cup on Sunday. And I played multiple games, like it was a whole Sunday set for playing that the whole day. And then when we finally had these, how you say it, the league thingy, it actually went over 2 days. This is like the qualifiers for ESL one. This is where we had a bracket of, what was it, like 16 teams or so, and then it was played over 2 days, over 2 long nights. It was also best of threes. And yeah, I know, but at the end of the day, I know what deuce means. By the end of the money talks, unfortunately, how this is the case in Battlefield. Like,
Well,
yeah,
okay.
it's
So here's my opinion on it. All right, and I agree a little bit with everybody, disagree a little bit with everybody as well. So first of all, leagues are fantastic if you can somehow gather up a really big prize pool. If you can get something that's just hasn't been done in a while, or something that is going to be really juicy at the end of it that you can tweet out and hype up and all kinds of good stuff like that, then absolutely I think that leagues are fantastic, because it does set up storylines, something that is very important right now in esports. And I would say that esports right now, yes, people definitely love watching the gameplay, the mechanics, but the storylines drive almost every single esport right now. Those rivalries, the teams, the up and comings, the underdogs, all that stuff. So, leagues are really good at doing that. But I think that cups are definitely better overall than what a league is, especially if it's just a single match a week. I played in leagues back in the day for CEVO. Also did it a little bit in ESL, and I can say that it was. I also did it in Alienware tournaments. It sucked. It was a whole lot of scrimming for 45 minutes to an hour of play. And it felt like, holy shit, I just wasted my entire time. Kind of like what Safe said, I'm getting nothing out of this match. If I wanted to lose it, it's like, yeah, whatever. And you do have an issue with teams who lose their first couple of matches bailing out, or and I know a lot of people do roster locks, but also cherry picking players is definitely a big problem. And even if you do have roster locks, I have seen it to where teams will disband, and that player is just going to be scrimming for the next couple of months, a month or so, maybe a month and a half, and then he'll just jump on a new team, come up the new league season. Cups, in my opinion, are much better. Even if you don't have a prize at the end of the day, it gives you a start, a finish. It gives you several games throughout that day, and it allows teams to kind of against this. This is the thing that I disagree with Nightmare, is the fact that a team needs to have that opportunity to be the best on that day. If you want to be the best team out there, you need to be the best team every single time you get in a server. That, in my opinion, that's how you're the best. So if a team who is seed number 15 beats the number 1 seed, yeah, it absolutely should happen, and it should have an impact on that cup. It shouldn't just be for 2 points or whatever and then we move on with the season. It should have an impact in that cup. It should have an impact in that tournament. And I do like that fact. I like the fact that there's an opportunity for that underdog to be able to break out and do some damage on any given day. I also think that in cups, it's a little bit easier. Now, granted, I don't run cups anymore, but when I was running it, it felt like it was easier to run and keep up with those events because, again, they were just one and done. You spent maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks allowing signups. Then once you got onto the day itself, you made sure that everybody who was adminning could actually have time that day. They just devoted the entire day to adminning. You didn't have to worry about running around, fixing things. If teams had issues, they knew when and where everything was going to be happening. So yeah, I feel like cups overall are definitely a lot better. Leagues have their place, but I think that there needs to be a healthy mix of cups and leagues. I think if you have an overarching league that lasts maybe 3 months, you need to have some weekly cups in the mix there to kind of mix things up. I like the way ESL did it just because it you had that overarching storyline of qualifying for those offline finals, but at the same time you had that really big impact of that cup that was happening, and it was very exciting throughout that entire time of watching it because there were upsets at times during those particular cups.
I mean, I agree there has to be a mix, and I mean the biggest difference for me between the cups and the leagues, and I've been running both daily cups and leagues for the past 5 years, is mainly the fact that the cups are more accessible, and then that's the big thing for me with cups. That's why we've always historically run so many. Is that with the league you miss the qualifier period, you're done, you can't join anymore. For cups, maybe you find out 2 cups in, and you can still join the next one. And ultimately, like when a scene is in this situation, like Incursions right now, where it's growing, then cups tends to be, in my opinion, maybe the better option, because ultimately you want to reach as many people as possible and help the scene grow. And so just focusing solely on a league may hurt the community more than anything else. People are like, no, I want to play competitive. Oh wait, the league has already started. Fuck, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
If I
well,
can't play anymore, I get demotivated and just stop playing.
especially when they have like a playoff situation where you have to qualify for like top four teams, and then you have the playoffs for the finals. Well, if you have, sometimes I've seen it over a 2 week period of time where you have those top four teams playing against each other, because you want to capture each one of them. So you have each match on stream, which is about 3 to 4 matches depending on if you do a third, fourth place. And then you have like a week to 2 weeks where the other teams don't play anything, like they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, and that's really bad. I've seen some strong, what looked like a potentially strong community really break apart by just having that big of a break. You need to have players be active on a consistent basis. So anybody else got anything to add on that one? We'll move on.
You guys really changed my mind on cups right now. I want to play cup now.
No, I mean,
We've
but
converted
here's the thing,
nightmare.
just to bonus on the leagues, because like the leagues are great when you have a set of established team, you have a big enough community. You can you can have the top teams compete weekly, and maybe you can add some extra features like we have in the past, like with the stats and the stuff, and like you said, you create kind of a narrative around it. And also the league is also like a sign of consistency overall. Doing well throughout the 7, 8 to 10 weeks of the league, whatever. To me is a big bonus. Obviously, like you said, I think it has to be a right mix, especially when you have a new game mode like this, where teams stop playing, new teams are coming up, and you just want to grow the community.
Yeah. All right.
Just to
So
add something.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add something as well, is that like from I don't care like if there are cups or leagues. I was just my answer is based on what is attractive to me personally, and from what I've seen in the past.
Well, I
I
mean, that
remember,
was the
like, the
question.
first-
That's what
Yeah,
the
that
question
was the question exactly. And I don't know, like, how much, for instance, Nightmare played in the past or competed in ESL 1 or like in bigger tournaments. I mean, BF is starting over again now, so you might get into it again. But from what I've experienced in BF4, it's something I'm pretty sure you would love as well. Like, you had a full schedule, there's a lot of cups, a lot of varieties, and yeah, like Brett said, there was Chivo, there was like this league, I remember, and I think we also played it. It was only NA, right? And we had to
Sivo?
spend,
Yeah.
Siva, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
you
it
guys
like
played
NA?
in it, stayed up
Yeah,
like
we
an
played it. Yeah,
insane time. Yeah.
and that was the only fun part about it, is that yeah, we had to stay like wake up like
Yeah.
very late at night, or stay awake at
I,
Saturday
I remember the
just
teams
to
hated
play
playing against you because of pings.
because of the pings, and then we ended up playing against the Brazilians in the final,
Oh
and that
God, yeah.
was like and that was the only like yeah fun. There was a mix, there was like a league and there was like cups, so
Yeah.
I think both are healthy for the competitive environments.
Yeah. All right. So next thing is what format do you guys think is going to be best moving forward? Now this is both kind of it's kind of mixed in with leagues and cups, but I think that overall this is going to be really important on the length of a match, especially one that is cast. You want to be able to bring in viewers, but at the same time, you don't want the matches to be like super long, but you don't want them to be short either. So sometimes I think that like, and especially because of the way the maps, the particular maps and modes are, having just like best of ones can sometimes be like really bad because hell, on a breakthrough map, dude, those things can end in an instant. Whereas if you have a Sinai Desert, those things can last up towards like 40, 45 minutes. So do you guys, what exactly is your, like, what would your preferred format be? A best of three, best of one, best of five? If we're talking about like, if it's a league match and you're doing one match a week, do you think it should be a best of five, best of three? Or if it's a cup and you're having to do them, what would you guys like to see? So, Nightmare, you first.
Yeah.
Um, let's get all right. So if it's a cup format and it's a say 32 teams, 32 teams, one plays 32. I think best of one for the first 2 rounds would be the best. Try and get the field cut down to top 8, and then for those next 2 rounds, I think best of 3 would be better to show the top 2 teams, and then for the final, I always think best of fives would be better. Just, really shows the team who's better on what map and what game modes. But since it is going to be best of 5, 2 game modes slash maps are going to be played twice, so it's what the community likes for
Well,
those 2 maps. I think is important.
okay, so let's combine basically what map should be used ban in what format too to kind of into this one because they kind of mingle a little bit. Um, what you kind of pushed on this a little bit um, with having potentially playing two maps in a best of five. If you were going to arrange your maps and modes, how exactly would you arrange it in a best of five?
I think King of the Hill first for sure. Um, then it would have to be the what's Giant Shadow's mode
So
called,
so it's Sinai, and then you would do Giant Shadow, and then you would do it
and then
Amains.
Amiens, and then another Giant Shadow, and then another Amiens.
So you would do a King of the Hill first, but only that one on a first map.
I would I you could probably switch it up and put King of the Hill third map to have it can be that third map. But I think since King of the Hill can take, I personally think it could take the longest. Um, yeah, I would definitely make it only one.
Yeah. So, see, for me, anyways, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, "Oh my God, really? You're going to be taking it from that?" But I actually like watching competitive COD. I enjoy watching. I actually hate playing the game. I'm utter trash at it, and I don't enjoy playing it. But I love watching it. I think there's some really good elements in competitive COD that Battlefield could emulate, not in the gameplay itself, but in the format itself. One of the things that I do love about it is that you play a hard point, you play a S&D, and then you play a capture the flag. So you have the hard point, which is a really good balance of having to have strategy, killing ability, and rotations, strategy basically, map knowledge. And then you move over to S&D, which is a slow down version. It's a very tactical version. And you have to slow down, play, very smart, and it changes the pacing for the viewer. And then you have that King of the Hill map on the third one, or I'm sorry, CTF on that third one, and that's really more of a again, it's another. You really have to know your map positioning. You have to know the way the map works. Your timings have to be extremely good, and those maps can be very long and drawn out. And I kind of draw the parallels with what we have right now with like a Giant Shadow for a hard point, an Amains for an S&D, because while that can go very fast, I have seen maps where, and you guys have played them as well, they just slow down to a crawl, and you're just waiting for that first pick before you make a move. And then you have that King of the Hill, that very long, drawn out game type for that third one. But that's kind of how I would see it in my own eyes. But yeah, best of fives I think would be really really fun for finals. I know some of the people over in chat are like, best of threes are good, but I would never do a best of three in a cup. Um, I don't know. It depends on how the cup is definitely structured. If it's a limited team cup, like if we're talking about like 8 teams are only allowed, then I could definitely see like a best of three going in. I would definitely want it to be a single elimination, but I mean, I kind of
Okay.
think that best of threes and best of fives would be kind of really fun to watch.
Okay. So like, just from an experience point, like from an organizer standpoint.
Yes,
Like
tell me.
having to run cups with a lot of teams. So I'm talking at least 20 to 30 plus,
Uh-huh.
where you're doing best of three. That's already a big pain in the butt because teams just can't figure it out, and teams are late, and teams are whatever. And best of three always lasts at least an hour and a half. Now, with the current server situation, sorry, with the current server situation where you have to create a new server every time you're running a map or mode, that means that every match, well, I mean, the good teams that can figure it out will take like an hour 15, an hour 20 minutes. Um, but if you're talking about that, the average new team will not figure it out. They will go literally crazy, and
You talking about just trying to
they
set
will
it
take
up, or like?
set it up,
Okay.
especially on the console side. Like they will go into like 2 hour, an hour and a half matches, and even just that one team will delay the whole bracket for hours and hours upon end. So do not, like, for the tournament organizers that are watching this, and maybe you're new to running cups, do not do best of three in cups until the end. Like, especially the way the game Incursions is structured now, where we still can get a best of three map thing. Like, don't do it honestly, because you're just gonna run into problems and you're gonna make teams not want to participate after the first cup. It's just not gonna work. For leagues, best of three is fine. People have plenty of time to do that. They can sort it out themselves, and over time they're gonna figure it out.
Well,
But
but that,
for
but
the
that's,
cups,
but that's like just for now though. Like until there's a better system in place. Because I got to think
But,
that
I
there's
mean,
there's
but,
going
I
to be
mean,
a better system in place. Because like on PC right now, it's very easy to set up those matches. Now, the only
right,
problem
but
that we
not
have on
console.
PC are jackasses who decide to get up and go to the bathroom for 30 freaking minutes and then come back later and go, oh, I forgot we had a match going on. That's the worst kind of setting that we get into. So I totally understand what you're talking about there. Like, because I've been on the casting side of that and it absolutely sucks.
No, but I right before this, like I played a scrim versus a team called VT on PS4. And we played two maps. We played Giant Shadow and Sinai, and overall, like, the two maps lasted an hour 15 minutes, and it was fairly fought rounds. Now, when those rounds are going into overtime, and teams can't figure it out, and they maybe have to play a third map, you're talking about 2 hour slots. And like, if you have to play like even 30 teams, that's last of 16, last of 8, last of 4, and then the two. That's 4 rounds, each lasting 2 hours. You're talking about 8 hours,
Yeah.
9 hours to play 30-team event. Are you going crazy? Like, people are just gonna like not play. Like, there's no point.
I've done
Keep
that.
it to
I've
be
done that before.
keep it.
I cast.
Yeah.
We had an event that lasted 13 hours before.
Yes, and me and you have already casted 9 hours in a row because we had more than 32 teams.
But
In
you didn't
Hardline,
have
I will
fun.
never forget. Dude, I will never forget our hardline event we casted. I literally wanted to kill myself after those. But that's not the point. But like, until at least until you can't put like the three maps in the server rotation, like, do not touch BO3 and cups.
Okay,
Obviously, we're talking
so
about 1-day cups.
safe typed over here. I know he hasn't said anything yet, but real quick, safe. Your opinion on it is what? Best of one up until you get to the finals.
Yeah, pretty much. I gotta agree with Deuce as well. I mean, you have to also see it from a player's point of view. Sometimes best of ones take even too long time, and you have to wait for the next team to finish, and this and that. And I know it's part of the cup, part of the tournament. In any case, best of ones are our best solution for cups until you reach the final. And of course, don't forget there is a veto system, so it's not going to be completely random. And in leagues, you just play best of threes, and that's it.
Okay, but here's my question: if you do a best of one in cups, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, how do you decide the map? Because you know, to me,
Veto.
I
Veto.
With a
feel
veto,
like it should
Veto.
be a
Veto.
predetermined map
No,
for
veto.
every single round.
I
And I
said
agree,
with a
but when
veto. Like
Yeah, and
you have a map pool and then you veto out maps. You know it was implemented in
But I
on
mean,
the
with 3
ESL page.
maps, what's the point of a veto?
Well, I'm
each
expecting
team
more than
removes
3
their
maps
least favorite map.
Right.
in
Okay. Yeah,
incursions.
but you're talking about in
Okay,
the
but let's
future. I
talk
mean,
now. Let's
we can
talk now. Like,
you
there's no
know,
point in talking in the future right now. Like,
yeah, we can get hypothetical later. But I'm talking about like right now with the events that we have going on. You know, what is the best? What do you guys think is the best way forward with these upcoming events? I feel like it would be better, and this is coming from a caster viewer perspective, of having predetermined maps for a best of one bracket. So you're gonna have your round of, sorry guys, gotta turn my phone off here real quick. But you're gonna have the round of 16 you have Giant Shadow, round of 8 you have Sinai Desert, round of 4 you have Amains, and then finals you do a best of 3. Like that right there makes perfect sense to me because as a viewer and as a caster you get to see all of the maps at work. Whereas if you let a veto system come in, and I know that there are some maps that utterly are dog shit right now, and we all know which one it is, but
Sonic.
but to me, you need to have some flavor in there. You need to have some variety. And if it's just Giants or if it's just Amayans the entire time, it gets old.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I see your point. This was already actually done with by ESL, and people complained a lot about it. I remember in the beginning of ESL there was like pre-picked maps, and then when the final was like Shanghai, Siege of Shanghai or whatever map. What is it? What was it called on BF4? Lankang? No, Lankang? No, was it that? I forgot the name. And people were just like pissed. They're like, "Is that map really the one we're gonna play on the final?" You know? And like, "Oh, Payo, please,
Well,
what have you
yeah,
done?" You
but
know?
that was a
Uh,
determined final. I'm talking about having a best of 3 final.
oh, but best of 3 final.
Yeah, so like everything up to the final is predetermined.
Oh, in that way, yeah, I agree to a certain extent. It depends on what kind of cups we're talking about. If it's like a super serious cup or with a lot of prize, it shouldn't be that way. I think there should be a veto option. If it's just a regular community cup, $100 at the end, then yeah, we can do it that way. Why not? I mean, there should be a variety of everything.
That's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
I totally understand though why teams wouldn't want to play certain maps. I know Gambit in here saying that a Sinai Desert is in the rotation. He's not playing it at all. Um, but I mean, you got to play it at some point. I don't. That kind of brings up another question. Should there be any maps banned completely, like just straight up? You're not using. I know. Has Amayin's been fixed yet? Have they talked about fixing it
No,
yet?
no, they haven't fixed
Yeah.
shit.
Okay, so it's still broken. So is
Yeah.
that even
Still
going to be
broken.
used in any
Not
events?
until it's fixed. It doesn't. There's no point. You just have to play a half, then restart the server, play the
So we're
other half.
basically stuck with like, because if we ban out Sinai Desert, and we're basically stuck with just one map, Giants. That's it. So if we play Giants and only Giants, would there then
I
be
mean,
any need for a best of 3 situation?
if we could, yeah, why not? But I mean, Giants is not even ideal. The point system is also ridiculous.
Yeah, the point system is
The
really
point
bad
system
right
doesn't even
now.
describe the whole map. And Amia is not a bad map. I mean, it's terrible. It's not a bad map for a tanker though. It's perfect for if I play tank, it's perfect for me. If I'm an infantry, it sucks. If I'm a sniper, it's perfect as well. The
Wait a
thing is
minute.
about
So Johannes is saying right now that there's going to be a patch on the 8th. Is that the 8th
on
of
the
this
8th,
month?
that yes, it
That's
will.
not Johannes. That's Perez.
Did Pez say
Yeah,
that?
yeah, but the rumors say there's going to be
Oh, okay.
on the 8th there's going to be a patch that fixes the map. I don't know what else, but I know what that patch is gonna break. So
Well, league matches, for the most part,
Please
I don't
no.
think start until like next week, and like I don't they? Are there league matches already started?
today actually one started.
Really? Okay. So
Yeah, I forgot
some
what it's
events are
called.
gonna have broken amines or no amines in it at all. That kind of sucks, but it can be added later if it's in a league setting.
I mean, in a league setting, you can just quit and join the server again. It's okay, but in a cup, it doesn't work. It's gonna
Well,
take too long time.
I feel like right now, it would be really awesome. I know players don't like it, but I would like to see all three maps being played at some point. I think that also we got to keep in mind that we are still giving feedback. So not only are we going to be able to give them feedback on as a player, but we're also going to be able to give them a feedback as casters and as viewers. So they're going to be able to see what the chat is going to be saying about these maps, and hopefully before any other kind of big events happen, that we were able to kind of fix and iron out a lot of these issues. But yeah, tiebreakers definitely need to be added. I do agree with that in chat. That was talked about a little bit earlier. We don't need to be seeing any just straight up. I know we gave them feedback, Johannes, but we still got to give them more feedback. They're feedback horse. They need feedback. Nom 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 nom. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to. So this one I'm really curious about because I kind of played with this idea several months ago, and I got utterly lambasted by so many people on Twitter. Um, should should we consider potentially banning out certain kits in the game? So, an example: you ban out the tank hunter, and you only allow the light tank. To me, tank hunter gameplay is extremely boring. And it devolves the tank fights into something where it's just a slugfest, and whoever gets the first hit in usually wins. So I would like to see, maybe something done with that, but it's not going to happen from the developer side anytime soon. So should organizers take it into their own hands to maybe ban some of these kits, like we have in the past for Battlefield, and ban out certain things to make the competition better? We'll start with Nightmare.
I think every kit in the game is fine with me. The only thing, like you said, I think tank hunter should be removed. I don't think it's fair. It's just whoever gets that first shot wins that fight. It needs to be removed or balanced down so it's at least a 3 shot, in my opinion. Because having it do 50 plus, way too much in my opinion, and it's gonna make the tank gameplay garbage. It's gonna really depend on infantry gameplay after that. But other than that, I think all the other kits are fine in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Safe. What do you think?
I think the tank hunter should be removed from the game. It's such a
Okay,
skillless
right, but I'm
thing to
talking
have.
about. Do you think that the organizers should put a ban in
Oh yeah,
place?
it should just I don't think the organizers should ban anything. I think the game should be played the way it is. I don't even think that's the whole goal of DICE. I mean, if we're gonna do it this way, then we just haven't improved
The
since
situation.
since the previous game. I mean, it's all about progress, and if and that needs to happen. So what we could potentially do is that I know this sounds maybe too much or stupid, but we could do like they do in League of Legends and Dota, like banning like teams can ban one kit from each team. Maybe a tank can be an exception, but that could be something done. Like for instance, ban the AT guy or ban the I don't know the combat sniper from the team. Whatever depends on
Yeah,
the map.
ban the AT guy and then the enemy tank will never down. That can
Well,
be pretty.
okay. And I also see
I know what
what
you're saying.
Johanna says here, and I do agree with him here. And you guys kind of said this as well, I believe. Keeping it standard settings, letting players see how bad
Yeah,
maybe something is, lets the devs know, yeah, it doesn't work.
that's true.
I know that there was a lot of devs back in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 when I was talking with them, and they saw our ban list. And like every single time they're like, "Oh my God, why are you banning claymores? Or why are you banning the FAMAS? Or why are you banning flashlights? Or why are you banning lasers?" And it's like, have you played a competitive match with this? It is incredibly
Yeah,
frustrating and just not fun to either play or watch. It either drags down the competition or it gives it like a very unfair advantage once that particular thing wins out. If a particular vehicle is able to be stolen or to come out on top in a certain situation, there's pretty much no chance for a team to get out of spawn or whatever it may be. Um, but at the same time, will it drive players away? That would be my concern. Is it going to drive players away? Potential players. Somebody said it on Twitter in one of our conversations earlier this week, one of my conversations. They said that, it's very hard to get players who play a game that leave back into the game than it is to get new players to try it out and stay with it. And right now, I feel like with the way that it's been rolled out, especially on PC, we have basically burned so many potential players. It's not even funny.
Yup. Yes, we have. And that's because of the way the kit system is built, the way the maps are built, the way the whole game mode works. Like, we actually have 3 game modes that has nothing to do with Battlefield. The whole idea of actually Battlefield and the whole discussion in the first place is that, yeah, why would you play CS? I mean, why would you make Battlefield like CS? You can just play CS instead. And now we have like King of the Hill game mode or whatever, and I don't know, some weird conquest system on Giant's Shadow that doesn't just depress teams, doesn't reward you at all with anything.
Yeah.
It's like you fight so hard and then you get punished, and that's problematic. And then there is Sinai Desert. Basically, the map itself, it can be like fun sometimes when it's 2 equal teams, but then if a team gets wiped out, it's so hard for them to get into the game.
It
Yeah.
is, man. And this is something that, and I know we're kind of off topic a little bit here, but something that
Yeah.
that I noticed, and Safe pointed this out to me. I didn't know it, but on Sinai Desert, when you capture the flag, it gives you a point. And if the circle is almost complete, is completed, like if you have like 2 seconds left and you capture it, you get like 2 points back to back, and it makes like games that are like 8 points to 7 points, and then the team who has 8 points captures it and rolls over. Like, it doesn't even give the other team a chance to come back. Like, it's just so weird how some of that stuff works.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's weird. I even calculated that if you lose the flag in each sector, let's say you have each sector has like what 10 points on it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10. Let's say 10 points. I think, or 10 tickets or whatever you call them.
Yeah, 10 tickets.
10 tickets. Yeah. If you wanna push from your spawn to the point itself, it takes 3 tickets just to get there. That's without taking the enemy team defending it into consideration. And there's like 20 buildings and hills and whatever. Like, it's just so it doesn't add up. It's very
Honestly,
messy.
though, the thing that really bothered me the most about Sinai and the scoring system is, like, I just played a scrim and we were on the second sector on B, and it was 9-9 on tickets. They had the control of the flag. We had 4 people on it and they had 3. So it was really that last ticket, it was really close. And we started burning the thing, and the timer still went through and gave them the point, and they won. Like, it was heavily contested. It was going down. When it's a last point like that, like, it should just contest the flag. You shouldn't, like, in my opinion, still have, if the enemy team has more people on the flag, you shouldn't still be gaining points, in my opinion. I don't know. It just feels weird when you're like finding it out like that and you're still losing that last ticket.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
out.
for time's sakes, in my opinion, I would like to see a cup, not an entire season, but just a cup. I would love to see a cup where Tank Hunter was completely banned, and how players play it, how players would play having the light tank, whether they would even take a light tank, and then I would like to see what it would be like if we had no tanks at all. So I would love to see a fully infantry, game going down. I like I said, I got just completely burned on this on Twitter for saying this, because so many people are like, "Oh my God, we gotta have tanks in
tried this.
Battlefield," and
It's
blah blah blah
actually
blah blah. And I played with the Synthic guys. I know some of you people know who Synthic is. I played with the Synthic competitive team, and we did infantry only, and it was a freaking blast. It was so much fun, and we had some of the closest games. Now, I don't know if we had some of the closest games because I was on one team and they sucked really bad, but either way, it was very enjoyable, and it while I do know, I do see a reason to have a tank into it. You're trying to bridge that gap. It just feels so out of place as it is. And it seems like the more they try to balance it, it either becomes too weak and you end up with basically once your team loses it, you're gimped. Uh, you know, or it's too strong and you have to have the tank, or again, your team is gimped. Like, I don't know. It just it doesn't feel like it should be there. So that's kind of my last thought on that one. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and move on here to this last one.
One last thing before we move on.
Hmm.
Like we said, feedback doesn't always work. Actually, mostly doesn't work. The only way it is going to work, just abuse everything. Like to the comp players out there, like literally, like to the top players out there that are watching this and out there, just abuse the hell out of anything you find that is overpowered. Abuse it, abuse it, abuse it. That way, all the people are
Like
hitting
I
the
did
fingers,
with the
but the
demo tank.
randoms, yeah, just have the randoms complain about it on the forums. Enough randoms complain, they'll nerf it because one comp player giving feedback it won't be listened to, but the thousands of people are crying because they're getting wrecked. And I think Nightmare here does a very good job playing the medic
Okay,
in the ranked games, drops
but
50 kills, makes everyone want to kill themselves, and
but do those people actually complain? Because to
well,
me,
at
those
some point
people,
they will have to.
but see, those people don't complain. What they do is they uninstall it and they go back to the main Battlefield game, and that's the issue. Like so the one time that we saw that I can actually point to for sure where there was a huge outcry from the community was when IGP 2.0 was supposedly not leaked. Okay, that right there was like a massive outcry, and like shit happened. Like they won't tell us how much shit happened. We don't know how much shit was going to happen, but something happened because of it. And like that isn't going we're not going to have that outcry again, I don't think, for incursions. Like I don't see that happening again. If we abuse a tank hunter, we're not going to have that same outcry. I mean, it's like the Frommer Stomp. Good God, how long did it take for us to get the Frommer Stomp finally out of there?
Oh my god.
I mean, it was insane, and that wasn't even, and that even had some community outcry behind it, but it took like months and months and months to get it to finally go away. So I just don't really see. All I see happening if you abuse certain things, driving away potential players. That's all I see that's happening. So, anyways, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. This is getting kind of long here, guys. But the final thing on there, if you guys look at the stream, I know I didn't give you the questions beforehand, but is this the right time to have events? Is this the right time to be doing incursions events on this scale? We got some guys that are announcing prizes. We have people announcing all kinds of cups and leagues and combinations of cups and leagues. Is this the right time to do it, or should we be waiting?
We should be waiting. Honestly.
Waiting.
I think I mean, why not? I think if PUBG can have, why can't Battlefield? I don't think
Because PUBG has a player base.
Yeah, exactly. From a player base perspective, yes, but Incursions itself is not a bad game. It's the problem is that it all revolves around DICE is doing a terrible job with communication. And I think no matter how good a game is, if this is going to continue, let's say we have everything working well with the game. Like let's say we have spread fix, no suppression, we get cool weapons, but if the game is going to continue having, for instance, the matchmaking issues we're having, if we're gonna continue to have, like giving feedback on certain things that is overpowered and it's gonna take them 1 month to fix it, it's not gonna change. It's people still gonna hate the game. Still people's gonna still trash talk DICE, and it doesn't matter. So yeah, we can have leagues. They just need to do something about it. They need to step it up, communicate some more, and And yeah, I mean, yeah, start listening to people, because it's really getting frustrating at this point. It's really getting frustrating.
Yeah. What do you think,
Honestly,
Nightmare?
though, like, oh, go ahead, Nightmare.
I don't think the league should be going on right now. I just don't think like most competitive players left Battlefield a while back. I just there's no one left to play this game.
Mhm.
They
That's true.
released it
Yeah.
too late.
Well,
They
that's kind of
released it too late, in
interesting.
my opinion.
It's interesting to hear it from you because you are a console player, and arguably, well, you can. It's not even arguably. It is for fact that the biggest player base right now is on console. It's also been a fact for Battlefield One that the competitive scene, the bigger competitive scene, has been on console. So even with that being known, you still think that it's a bad idea to have it right now?
Yeah, I just most of the top teams, top players left a while back. I mean, yeah, you could say there's still competitive players out there, but in my opinion, they get walked on they get walked over all the time. I mean, there are still teams that are really good. Don't get me wrong, but there's no competition anymore. Most of them. I mean, I can't really name more than 5 NA teams right now that are good. I can probably name 7 EU teams. When I first started playing Battlefield One, I can name 20 EU teams. 15 NA teams. Now I can't.
Yeah, I can understand that. I
Get
mean,
bad.
Okay, but
I
like
go ahead, Deuce.
in my honestly though, like historically, the NA PS4 scene has always died after like first few months. It's the same thing in Battlefield 4. NA scene started at the beginning, just got bored of it, played other game, they didn't give a fuck. Which is the exact opposite of what happened on Xbox. Xbox, like the North American scene is like bigger, and the U scene is kind of dead. But honestly, like I don't think this is the problem right now. I think it's the wrong time for like community run events. Um, like community run events are great when there's like an established scene, I think, and that's when they can strive. Right now, I just feel like everything is forced. Like right now would have been a great time, especially now that incursions kind of like went public for everyone. That Dice actually made an effort to do something more official, in my opinion. Like that way, like the players would have like, especially the players that have never played the game competitively, players that are curious about the game, could be like, oh shit, there's an esports mode, and Dice is actually gonna put effort into it. You know, even if there's a little less updates, they could have compensated for that with like an actual competitive structure around it. The fact that that's not there, neither are the updates, is just like a total like safe thing, total lack of
So
communication,
so
total
you're
lack of support.
so
And
you're
that's an
saying
alpha. We're talking about an alpha. They can't.
yeah.
They're sending one update out for an alpha.
Yeah. But
That's
so
embarrassing.
what you're basically saying is that um there should be an official league set up, and then the community leagues would then supplement that official league.
Yeah, I mean, well, kind of. I'm just saying in the state of the game right now, it'd be some kind of like alpha, or how it says now, first look. First of all, there shouldn't be first look after like this long. Like there should be more done. And if they honestly, if they'd actually listen
We've
to our
been looking
feedback
for 9
early
months.
on,
My eyes hurt.
honestly, yes, like yes, and that's exactly it. Like we've been giving feedback since Gamescom, and we had the show match we did with ESB. Like look how much time has passed, and we've been saying the same things over and over. Sorry, I'm kind of sick. Like if that actually listened to us early on, then we wouldn't be here, and we would be in a state of incursions that would actually be good. And in that case, then the community leagues can strive. Okay, Dice provided a good product, and we can market it ourselves and get it engaged as many teams as possible. Especially with the new teams, because I mean, the struggle isn't the current team. The struggle is how do I get new people to play this game? Because that's ultimately what every league wants when they're trying to grow. But right now, we don't have a working game. Like it's a working game, but it's not updated enough for us to call it a proper like game. First look, and then there's no competitive support behind it. Ultimately, nothing official at least. So like anyone that just plays Battlefield 1, you know, and calls themselves a little bit of competitive, or they're decent, they're not going to waste their time on incursions because they're like, well, there's no future. Nothing's been communicated. There's no real support. The new Battlefield's coming out in like what, 5 months anyways. Like, why am I wasting? But I'll just have a good time on the base game right now. it doesn't make any sense. And from an organizer perspective, it's kind of frustrating that we're in this situation because like at least ESB, we thrive on sponsors. For us, it's a nonprofit organization, and we thrive on sponsors. It's hard to get sponsors when we're in this current state of affairs, and ultimately, it hurts both the community and us long term because we strive on the support of these bigger companies that believe in the game. But if the way it is right now, Dice doesn't believe in the games. How can other companies say like, oh, yeah, we believe in it too? And it's a pity for me because I feel the Incursions is the right step in the right direction for the future competitive Battlefield. But I feel like not enough is being done, or at least communicated. Maybe there's some mega galactic stuff going behind the scenes, but no one knows about it. So ultimately, like,
Yeah,
might as well nothing be happening.
and that
Like,
that kind of bleeds into what you were talking about before with communication. The fact that we don't know we don't have a roadmap, we don't know what's ahead. Should we be excited or should we be like, I'm gonna go play PUBG because there's stuff going on for that. They just announced a $2 million prize pool. They've got qualifiers popping up all over the place. I think DreamHack that's gonna come up has like 100K prize pool. Atlanta has another big prize pool that they're gonna be having at Atlanta over there. I mean that it's insane. Like we just don't know if Incursions is going to be worth investing our time. Like that right there, I do understand completely. And like I feel like right now these events they're not. I feel like it's in a bad spot. It's right before the announcement of the new Battlefield. Everybody's getting hyped for that. They're ready to just get rid of. Everybody knows what the current Battlefield game fatigue is like. Everybody's ready to shag it off and go to something else. Okay, they're hoping that what was wrong in the game that they're playing now gets fixed. Most of the time, it does not. But they're ready to just get rid of it and go to something new. And I feel like having these events now kind of is like it's the players are just not getting excited for it at all. So, after that whole long spiel, what do you guys think that these events are going to have any kind of an impact? Do you think that they're going to like? What do you guys expect? What's the impact of the events? What are you expecting from these events? Go ahead, Nightmare. Take it away.
I'm expecting the normal top teams to win who are still around. I think nothing's really gonna change. It's gonna. I don't think it's gonna hurt, but I think it's. They don't. If these events do not get the right viewer base at all from the viewers, it's not gonna help Incursions out at all. It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna hurt because it's gonna be the same people playing over and over again. If they can somehow get the word out that Incursions is actually esport mode and is actually kind of good, it might help the player count, the viewer count, and overall maybe Dice will come and say, "Hey, we're working on that. We're gonna help you." But the events have to get viewer viewer count up, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Safe, what do you think? Do you think that there's going to be any kind of impact from the events, and what are you expecting from them?
Oh, definitely. If there are going to be any events in the future, it will attract players. Definitely.
Well, no, I'm talking about the events that are announced now. Do you think that the events that have been
Oh,
announced now have any impact at all on the competitive side of Battlefield? Do you think that, and what are
no.
you expecting from these events? Like, are you expecting big numbers to come in? Are you expecting, like, what's going to happen with it?
I don't think we're gonna have an increase with the player base. To be honest,
I think the player
it's.
base will go down.
I think, yeah. I mean, that's possible. It will either remain or it will decrease, like you said. Thing is just an unfortunate because Incursions is actually not a bad game. I'm enjoying it way more than a lot of other FPS games out there. But there are just so many holes, and one of these holes are dice. As I stated, it's the whole problem revolves around the communication, and if we don't get a roadmap, if we don't get all that stuff, people will keep on leaving or will never play this game.
Yeah.
Um, it's a frustrating situation, and yeah, it's I'll blame Dice. I mean, if they don't do anything about it, it's just this is how it's going to be.
God damn it. We've been
I
diced
I
again.
I understand they have NDAs and they need to get some legal work done with the papers, whatever, for tournaments. But that should have been done a while ago, so it can be ready now, so people don't ask about it or they
Yeah.
don't go all quiet for a month. Like look at Reddit right now. So many questions, not a single time a dev has replied to anything.
Yeah,
Not a
I would be
single
kind of
time.
curious. I would be interested
Reddit
to
is
know.
empty. There are
Yeah.
no tweets. There is nothing. I understand they're busy with the new Battlefield. I mean, yeah, but I think that if you're gonna start a project like Incursions, I know we call it's a test, whatever alpha, but at the end of the day, it's not. It is a test for the next Battlefield, but they still invested shitloads of money on this,
Mhm.
and
Well,
and
see, my
and they a
my
lot of
thing,
time.
I almost feel like they were almost told not to communicate anymore because it went dark like all of a sudden. Like they weren't super amazing before the servers went down, but they did pop in at least once or twice a week, answered questions, talked about things, and then they left. But like after the servers went down, like it's just been dark. Like there has been zero communication. And I know that you had people on Twitter that were saying, well, it's like Battlefront. They can't say anything because in Battlefront, they had their Q1 or whatever it was. Until that's over, they can't say anything for their investors meeting. Well, that's already been over for your Q1's done. So why aren't we getting communication on anything? But yeah, that's ugh. But Deuce, what do you think? You think there's an impact on from what, because you as an organizer, do you think that you can? Well, this is going to sound
Um,
kind of like kind of weird, but do you think that you can kind of prop up the competitive scene until the next Battlefield?
I mean, let me reply in general for a second. I don't like right now. There's a lot of events gonna be going around. You mentioned all four leagues that they're doing events. There's probably gonna more that are gonna be coming up, and more that will arise and fall. Ultimately, like that's just how it is. Right now, I do feel like there's an oversaturation of events.
Oh, really?
Like on BF4, like on BF4, I felt like there weren't enough. I'm talking especially the console side, but like right now, I feel like there might be too many. Luckily, I feel like some people are like region locking themselves, which is good. But right now, the events being made, I feel like are a big band-aid that the community organizer are putting on the game. However, they're big band-aids that I feel like the community needs to embrace and that the community needs to like help strive, because like Johannes saying in the chat, like ultimately this right now, what's happening now in the community right now needs to be attempted to be carried over into the next Battlefield, so that when the next Battlefield hits, all of us organizers can actually like do bigger and better things. But even aside from that, if well, I hope Dice decide something official, maybe like they're doing FIFA and Madden right now. But they need teams for that to happen, and having a already established team, scene will help that. For PS4, for example, we have literally hundreds and hundreds of teams. Some of them are just dormant, waiting for stuff. A lot of them are competing. Um, so I think that this will be a good way to for the PS4 and to get these teams properly active in top events. A lot of teams are just competing in the regional little things. They don't want to get out of their comfort zones. I think this will be a good opportunity for those teams to um, to start competing in kind of like the bigger scene. For PC and Xbox, to be honest, I just hope that these communities embrace these events and start forming a community ultimately, because North America has a good community right now for Xbox, but EU um, is severely lacking. PC, from what I've seen, is kind of lacking overall, and I just wish that the community decides to maybe like Slendy was saying in there, like he's messaging teams, telling teams to get signed up, and I think that has to be a general effort from everyone to do this, because um, otherwise, all this effort that all these orgs, like GL, Hardcore League, BFN, and even us at ESB, hopefully with our announcement soon, are trying to do is make it so that okay, there's no official support, but hopefully we can provide enough support ourselves, and then we can show Dice that we ourselves can do a fair amount without their help, and that once they decide to do it on their own, then this will just multiply. But the community, and I can't stress enough, like the community needs to like support itself and not be demotivated right now coming, and like most players don't realize this, but the amount of work that gets put into these events, like without going into specific organizations, like just overall, the amount of work to get, any sponsorship, to the amount of organizing, both from a media perspective, like getting these social media perspective, like getting these teams involved and getting the word out there, and organizing and having admins there and casters there and everything. That's a lot of work, and unless the teams rewards all this effort being put by all these organizers, then the organizer honestly are just gonna say like, you know what, fuck it, what's the point? So
Yeah.
teams and the community really need to band together, and I want to say this especially like PC master race people need to like put that shit aside and understand like Battlefield in general. Like if you want this thing to grow and you're gonna have like a console platform war right now, that's not gonna work.
Hey, I'll
Like
put my PC Master Race aside as soon as you guys stop bitching about using a Zim.
First of all, get good. Second of all, second of all, I remind you of me using a show match. Second of all, I'm the guy that has my PC right here and both consoles in front of me. And for Incursions right now to succeed, both like now we're saying with the viewership especially, there has to be a united front on people just being a fan of Incursions, let's say. Because like Safe said, it's a good game mode. It's not bad. Like honestly, like me and Nightmare play Incursions together almost every night. Like it's enjoyable to play. And honestly, I haven't felt that of a
We've
Battlefield
had some
game
really
for a
good
long
games,
time.
like some really good games. I even had one with Brett once, like when it went to the tiebreaker, I think, and it was so
Wow,
close.
he like says it like it's so surprising. That
But-
hurts,
but
bro.
we did have some really good games. But if I can cut off Deuce,
Go ahead,
and,
go ahead.
and I do understand your point, and I agree, and I do like I say it. I do tell people to sign up. I want that to happen. The thing is that this is something that has been going on for years. It's not just only now in Incursion. It's not a wake up call like yeah, people get in. It's not gonna. People will end up actually being disappointed because yeah, they will come maybe and play, but they're just gonna end up being disappointed because they're gonna just say like, is that it? Where's Dice? Where are they? We just went in to play because you told us to come and play. But then after a while, they will be like, there is no support. Look at Bluehole. They do so much. Their updates, they apologize, they mess up all the time. Like Bluehole is one big meme because of all the mistakes they're doing. But they do one thing, the magic word. We apologize, and we don't even hear that. Like, not even an apology. That's the problem. And why would we even do the work for Dice, like to invite people to play the game? They should be doing that stuff. We
Well,
don't get paid for that.
I don't
It's their
mind.
job.
I don't mind, doing some footwork out there and inviting people. I mean, that's what I've been
Me
doing for the
neither.
last
Me
like
too,
5 years.
me too.
That's fine. But what's really frustrating is when I do get those people to join in and play, it's especially in the current situation, it's very hard to convince them to stay. Especially when it's like, I've had conversations and it's like I don't know what's going to be happening in the next 3 months. I have, ideas of what's going to be happening just from the way I've seen things kind of move and certain people doing certain things and certain jobs being filled in certain places. Like, to me, it's like, now is a really good time to kind of, at the very least, keep your eyes on what's going on and be ready to jump in. But it's very hard to convince people of that because all they've ever seen in the past is, oh, I get into the game, nobody does anything, the game ends up failing in some way, and I've wasted time, and then they go to something else. At least in this climate that we're in now. So, anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna be wrapping this up here pretty soon, guys, because we're already over an hour, and we're not wanting to get too far over an hour. But last and final question. This is basically going to be a very short answer question. I don't want any 5-minute monologues. But do you think this helps? Do you think the events that are coming out helps, or do you think they hurt BF chance in esports? Nightmare, you first.
The events,
Yeah, do you think that it helps or it hurts BF's chances in the future in esports?
it could go either way. I think it could help it. I think it could hurt. It could hurt because Dice isn't giving feedback and adjusting stuff, but it could help with player count, viewer count, and just um an overall start to
So
esports.
it's a very political answer from Nightmare there. All right, next, let's Safe. What do you think? Do you think this helps or this hurts BF chances?
I mean, the numbers say everything. If you went into each league and seen how many players signed up for each cup, it's embarrassing. Yeah, the numbers are embarrassing. The first test cup, no prizes in Battlefield 4, we had more than 120 teams signed up.
But do you think that it hurts the future of Battlefield and esports?
It's not gonna either hurt or improve. It's just gonna be the same. It's just
Okay.
gonna be the same boring ass thing going on. Sorry for what I just said. I think if in order people to take this game serious, they need to combine these whatever we have leagues right now going on with some, I don't know, some sort of big event. A tournament, a LAN tournament with a prize money. Then people will actually start opening their eyes. They're like, okay, this is the real deal here. This is a competitor to the other FPS games out there. But if we don't get that, forget about it.
All right, Deuce, what do you think?
I mean, the events themselves can't hurt Battlefield. The only thing that hurts Battlefield in the future right now is the fact that like Dice's and EA's first take on competitive Battlefield is being very poorly followed. When you have companies like Red Bull and everything making big announcements, oh, Battlefield is tackling esports, blah 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 blah, dating back to September, and then nothing. They're just like, well, blah, they failed. That's how people look at it, and
Yeah.
obviously they're not gonna. Those companies aren't gonna see. Oh, look, there's like dozens of community run events. There's a few grand going up. So the events aren't gonna hurt. They're gonna help because at least the people that care about Incursions are gonna at least stick around and be like, well, this is better than nothing. At least we got something going. Maybe EA's not really doing anything, but I'm just afraid that the Battlefield aren't going to be taken as seriously competitively because of how they, went about with Incursions.
And that kind of goes with my opinion. So my opinion on it is that it's not going to hurt the chances if it was just going to be like the events being run and not being broadcast. I think what hurts competitive Battlefield in the future for future endeavors is when people tune in and they watch it and if it's a failure. If we see crashes, if we see very lopsided games, 8-1 games or 4-0s, that type of stuff on a consistent basis, the game is going to just be laughed at. It's going to hurt the perception of what competitive Battlefield can be in the future. And the example that I use is DreamHack, the very first DreamHack event that happened. If you remember, and I know Safe does, we had 100, I believe it was 104 crashes that entire weekend. That was insane. And
we had a semi-final.
Yeah, and the thing is that it was like, okay, we still had teams playing after that, but the amount of teams or the amount of people that viewed that when you said, oh yeah, I'm a competitive Battlefield player, they're like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Like the amount of times that I was casting matches after DreamHack happened, people would come in and just laugh. They would just laugh and bash competitive Battlefield. Like, because what they saw was a joke. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen with these events. I think that they can hurt Battlefield in the future. I think that it can have lasting effects, just like what we saw back at DreamHack and Battlefield 4 have lasting effects on the competitive Battlefield scene then. I think it can happen here with Incursions as well, especially if they stick with the Incursions name in the next Battlefield game. And yes, guys, there's nothing confirming that Incursions is in the next game, but in my opinion, they are going to have incursions in the next game. I don't really see them throwing this much money at what we have right now without them putting something like this. It may not be exactly like what we have, but something like this in the next Battlefield game. And I just think that it could have lasting effects. So me personally, I would have loved to have seen no events being held whatsoever in Battlefield 1. Everything be in a test phase. Okay, yeah, community events, they can run some cups here and there, but it really doesn't need to be too crazy. We don't really need a whole lot of prizes involved in it. It needs to be treated as a test. And then in the next Battlefield, come in with a bang. Announce a massive tournament. Have, 50, 100 grand tournament coming in for a launch of Battlefield. Have the organization, the small leagues maybe come in with 2, 3, 4, 5 grand events with some sponsorships back behind it. That type of stuff. I think that would have been the best route to go. But we shall see. I'm going to be casting a lot of them. I hope they are good because I'm going to be behind the desk and watching a whole bunch of teams play.
You better cast them well.
Oh, dude, I'm going to cast them so well that I'm inviting other people to cast with me.
Oh yeah.
I need somebody to carry me. I've been in a backpack too long. I need somebody to carry. All right, guys. So we're going to be ending it right there. Pretty much, I know this was a very negative ending to it, and I do apologize for that. On a positive note, though, we do have events that are starting up. GEL, Hardcore League, ESB is going to be announcing their stuff soon, as well as BF Nations, who have just announced their stuff this week. They do have registration still open for PC and Xbox, I believe, but PS4 has shut down on BF Nations. Make sure you do check those out. I'm going to be putting them up into the chat bar right about, hold on, now. And you guys can go.
NA is still open.
Okay, PS4 NA is still open for BF Nations, so sorry about that. But there are the Twitters for every single one of those leagues. Make sure you go follow them, retweet all their information, go sign up, all that other kind of good stuff. Hopefully, like I said, we're still kind of testing this whole format out. I like it. I like having these conversations with these guys. I want to be able to bring in guests on a regular basis from different walks from the community. So I want to be bringing in organizers, players, casters, all that kind of good stuff. Maybe even possibly some devs later on in the future, and just kind of get everybody's opinion on things. I want to see what the views are on some of these topics. But we're going to be wrapping it up here. Thank you guys for watching. You can follow Codename Deuce up on the screen. You see his Twitter. Me up on the Twitter as well. Safe is Safey. He's not up there because he decided that he was not going to show up earlier today. So yeah, we'll let me see if I can get this working here.
That Nightmare doesn't have a
there we go.
This is Randy.
And then Nightmare did give me a Randy. Wow, that was mean. But Nightmare did give me a YouTube channel, so make sure you do check him out, as we are going to be posting that into the chat right now. And yes, I'm the only one that can post
Like
links.
and subscribe,
so
guys.
deal with it. Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to be having matches coming up next week. I'm very excited about that. I believe that the 15th is going to be the first time that GEL is going to be casting some, or I'm going to be casting some stuff for them. Yeah, looking forward to it. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll be posting this up on YouTube. Appreciate all the conversations in chat, and hopefully we'll be having more of these more frequently as we move on. We have more stuff to talk about with teams, events, organizations, all kinds of drama. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Do appreciate you sitting here and chatting for the last hour and a half. And yeah, we're going to end it there.